On the 21st of April, I handed in my notice to a local convenience store. With new beginnings on the horizon and the excitement of my first long-haul trip abroad, I was elated that the day had finally come. After 6 months of headaches, power struggles, and different worldviews, I was at peace knowing that it wouldn't last very long. Little did I know that peace wouldn't last very long. On the 23rd of April, I was handed a letter from a manager of a different store. Confused as to what the letter may contain, I opened it up to quell my curiosity. The letter read, "Morgan Bedford, you are invited to attend a formal investigation of alleged theft." After reading the letter's contents, I laugh. Part shock, part confusement and amazement. I shoot a look at the other manager and ask, "Is she serious?" The investigation was to be held in 3 days' time. Adrenaline is now coursing through my body. I spend the rest of the shift running the whole scenario through my head over and over and over again. How could she do this? I've done nothing wrong. I leave in 4 weeks, what's the point? Is the things that I say to myself. My mind is in overdrive in an attempt to control the situation, but it only makes matters worse. The events completely consume me for the next 2 days. This situation could have been dealt with a simple conversation, but because a woman twice my age and in a senior position couldn't keep her cool, I was in a situation where not only could I lose my job immediately, but my reputation was at stake as well. Knowing that the one conducting the investigation is a friend of the manager, I had no room for error. She was trying to ruin me and I couldn't let that happen. I had the home ground, sat in a canteen of the shop, in the spot where I eat dinner every shift. A strange place to conduct a formal investigation, but I wasn't complaining. I sit up straight, focusing on my breathing, and sensing a slight tension in the air. The opposition crammed into the corner, turned sideways to face me. For a meeting of formality, they made no attempt to change the seating arranging to make it more serious. They would have set the tone without speaking a word, but instead they've conformed to the seating arrangement, not a powerful first move. He looked uncomfortable, his steely blue eyes unable to fix on mine for very long. As the tennis match begins, he serves with an opening question to get me talking. I instantly serve back with a question of my own, asserting my position as the driver's seat of the conversation. A strong opening move. The accusation was that I had not followed the correct process, and she was right. The one flaw in her argument was that the rest of the shop doesn't follow the correct process either, therefore convicting everybody. And so, the only strong argument they had became null and void. After that was child's play. 40 minutes in, he asked for a timeout to collect his thoughts. He came here believing the outcome was set in stone, that I was guilty. The investigation was meant to be held impartially, but it didn't seem to be the case. Moments before the break, I could see the fear and acceptance in his eyes. I could smell victory was near. Fight or flight mode was in full swing. My adrenaline was pumping, my body was shaking and sweating, but I managed to keep it at bay. Cool, calm and collected on the outside, but my body and mind were working overtime to maintain the control and perform. We reconvene and the decision is made. I am not guilty. Fucking ecstatic. I sigh in relief. I knew it would happen from the moment of its conception. Why am I telling you this story? It's not to gloat or to complain that I was a victim. Shit happens, and we're in no position to control or alter what has led to it. But from the moment shit hits the fan, we have a choice. To play the victim. Poor me, why me, this isn't fair. Or to embrace what is unfolding before us. To accept the suck, acknowledge our feelings and not waste precious time or energy wishing things to be different. Because no amount of wishing things to change will make an ounce of difference. All we can do is push forward with as little resistance as possible. Life is always going to throw curveballs. Our mission is to respond with as much presence, grace and acceptance and return the serve as best we can. Moments like this are opportunities to show ourselves what we are truly capable of. The only thing we have control over is our response to a circumstance. Yes, we still react. We may be upset, angry, distraught, and that's okay. We are not demonising our feelings or thoughts, simply allowing them to be, and choosing to respond the best we can. Imagine a life where no matter what happens in the external world, you are completely okay. Able to respond to any situation because you have surrendered to the present moment. You have cultivated an impenetrable peace and acceptance of life, which allows you to respond not from a place of inadequacy, lack or complaint, but from a position of personal power. That all is well all of the time, regardless of what happens. I am here today to tell you that it is possible. These are 2 books which bestowed this elegant way of life into many hands. Letting Go by David Hawkins and The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. The former is a deep dive into the power of letting go, of accepting ourselves, our emotions and what happens in life, to operate from a place of love and peace. The latter is a miraculous account of what unfolds in Michael's life as he surrenders to the moment, a glimpse of what is possible if we follow suit. Emotional profile. Letting go. The objective of letting go is the elimination of limiting mental and emotional programs. Feelings align on a spectrum from anger, guilt, sadness to love, joy and peace. Each holds an energetic charge. Everything is made of energy, and emotion is no different. As we flow through the emotional spectrum, the amount of energy held by each emotion is increased. No emotion is bad or wrong. Each has its place and all are okay. All are part of the human experience. The issue arises when these emotions persist through repression, obsession or reaction. Feelings arise and our minds find a way of rationalising these feelings. All the negative feelings are our problems, which bestows the power of our internal state back in our hands. Negativity does not exist within a situation. It resides in our reaction to the situation as we see it. It takes energy to hold our feelings. By holding on to certain feelings, anger, guilt, sadness, etc., we cause unnecessary suffering. We have to come up to the level of courage, refer back to the map, to look at our worst feelings and accept them as part of the human experience, and remember that we are only held accountable with what we do with them. When we surrender, letting go of all judgment, the situation is transfigured, and we can liberate ourselves from suffering. When we accept the feelings as they are, not trying to change or justify them, we transcend the smaller aspects of ourselves through acceptance and love. The more we love, the more we can love. Love is a limitless resource. The love you have for your friends and family does not subtract any energy or emotional well-being from yourself. It only enhances your experience. Feelings are the key to the expansion or constriction of our talents, abilities and actions. We can choose not to believe in a negative belief system. We can choose how we respond when circumstances cause emotional reactions. By removing the resistance you have towards particular emotions, allowing yourself to feel and process, you release stored energy and remove any judgment that prohibits you from taking your best foot forward. Letting go is the key to living a more joyous, light and loving life. The mind as a master. Become aware of what you're buying into and what you're accepting daily. When we have been conditioned to listen to the voice in our head, to accept its justifications and listen to its reasoning, even when it does not serve us. It is a terrific storyteller, often doing a great job of convincing us to stay small. Picture a time you're about to try something new, something that elicited both fear and excitement. I will use the example of cliff jumping. You've watched countless people do it from this spot throughout the day. As you reach the edge, fear is coursing through your body. Your mind begins to give you reasons after reason as to why you shouldn't jump. What if you slip? What if you land wrong? What if the water is shallow? The more you listen, the more fear is heightened, causing many to turn around and quit. Thoughts are an endless rationalisation of feelings. Once we let go of associated feelings, then the onslaught of thoughts attached to those experiences are removed. The mind is a wonderful servant but a terrible master. For too long we have allowed it to drive our livelihood, except we aren't truly living, not to the extent of our potential. Stoicism, Buddhism and Hinduism all discuss the ability to keep a steady mind and detach from impulsive thoughts. to master the mind through mindfulness and presence, to act vigilantly. It is of utmost importance that we recognise the fleeting nature of thoughts and that the mind is a terrible ruler, to be free of its enslavement and begin to use it as a tool. Embrace your feelings, detach from thought, and begin to operate from a state of love.